Just keep your faith in me, don't act impatiently. You'll get where you need to be in due time. Even when things are slow, hold on and don't let go. I'll give you what I owe in due time.
The number one thing that a black boy has to be prepared for is how to control his emotions in the face of unfair treatment by Europeans. Because if he cannot do that, his life will be extremely difficult. And the only person who can prepare a black boy to control his emotions in the face of unfair white treatment is a black man. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's what we're saying. The sisters, you got to stop going around saying that I can raise a son all by myself. We got to stop running around because a lot of us got custody too. And we got to stop running around saying we can raise our daughters all by ourselves. You can raise a healthy adult woman, but you cannot make that girl into a woman. It takes one to know one because it's a spiritual something that they got to get from somebody who already has it. So we need women to make women, and we need men to make men. None of us can do it on our own. And one of the reasons why our children are walking around so angry, so full of hatred, so full of venom, is because they know that they need both. But we keep telling them they got to be satisfied with one. And then a lot of us are marrying people who we know don't give a damn about our children. That's right. So I know girls who hate their fathers because he married a woman who he know don't like me. Or I know boys who hate their mothers because she married a man who she know don't like me. Now we understand we all got to have our lives outside of our children. But you got to make sure you choose somebody who respects your children. Because to be quite honest with you, nobody can truly respect you if you allow them to get away without respecting your children. I'm getting sick and tired of going to conferences where folks who don't look like us will ask me the same questions time and time again. If black children are not intellectually inferior to white or Asian children, how do you explain the fact that the Asians are getting the highest test scores and the white kids are getting the second highest test scores and the black and Hispanic kids are getting the lowest test scores? If you're not intellectually inferior, why do we constantly find a 15-point test score gap between black and white and Asian? I said it's real simple and it got nothing to do with eugenics. The first answer is that every test in America was designed by middle-class white people for the benefit of middle-class white people. That's the first question. The second answer is what? The average middle-class Asian child spends 15 hours a week studying outside of school. The average middle-class white kid spends about 8 hours a week studying outside of school. And the average Negro boy, because he got him growing up thinking he goes to the NFL or the NBA, only spends 25 minutes a week studying outside of school. So this has nothing to do with intellectual inferiority. In fact, the late great Dr. Amos Wilson, a Harvard psychologist, said what? When you study the intelligence rates of babies, when you study the intelligence of babies, you will find that African infants outperform the infants of any other race group. Yeah. So why does that never come up in this discussion? And isn't it somehow interesting that the average IQ score of a black child goes down as they go up in school? The average IQ score of a black child goes down the more they go up. So if I'm getting stupider, the more that I'm learning, then I must be miseducated for oppression. Okay, you got to talk about propaganda, the science of mind control. Marcus Garvey taught us that the world was run by propaganda. Half the stuff you believe was nothing but a lie. Okay? What did Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, say about brainwashing people? What did Goebbels say? Goebbels said that if you want to control the way people think, he said keep the lie simple. Keep the lie big. And keep saying it over and over again. Let me say it again. This is what they done. He said keep the lie simple. Keep the lie big and keep repeating it. He said it's something within the nature of man, no matter how much you're lying to him, he has to believe it if you keep on saying it. So, if we look at television, we find that AOL, Time Warner, and Disney are the two largest media corporations in the world. Did you know that? When most of us think of Disney, we think of Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny. But Disney, okay, is one of the most powerful media corporations in the world. And that's why I tell the black community, we can keep on playing games with the school district all day. But you must do one or two things to save our sons. Number one, take over the school system. Or number two, build your own schools. One or the other, there is nothing else. See, people often say, I want some strategies. We want some solutions. You know what the solution is. Problem is you don't love your children enough to bring about that solution. And that solution is independent schools. Because if you notice, black folk, you love to spend your money on anything except the right thing. You love to spend your money to have fun, but you don't love to spend your money to do right for the greater good of the whole world. You can't organize. Socially Carmichael Kwame Ture told us what? The reason we don't get anywhere is because we're not organized. The parents are not organized. Black men are not organized. Black women are not organized. Black psychologists aren't as organized as we should be. Black medical doctors are not as organized. The criminologists, the social workers, the medical doctors, we're not as organized as we should be, because to be organized is to be effective. To be organized is to be effective. Kwame Ture said if you organize a lot, you get a lot done. If you organize a little, you get a little bit done. But if you don't organize at all, you don't get anything done. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said what? The greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. So you see, we got to recognize that there's people making billions of dollars off of black disorganization. I mean, look how many people whose houses and lives were financed in the suburbs because we refuse to get our act together. How much money are doctors making off of these brain drugs? How much money are the halfway houses making? How much money are the therapy centers making off black folks who can't solve their own problems? So if you look at it, there's so much money invested in you doing wrong, why in the hell would anybody want to do right? Just like special education. Whenever I diagnose one of your children and put them in special education, the school, the district is what? Double the money from the federal government. Did you know that every time a child goes to special education, there's a 100% increase in funding? There's no extra money. So who is going to bother looking for black mentally gifted kids if they're not going to be paid for doing it? This is the situation. Miseducation. Absolutely ridiculous. Our boys are systematically miseducated. My good colleagues, Dr. Nathan and Julia here, say that a lot of our children participate in psychological dropout. And guess what? We fail to realize that there's really no such thing as a dropout rate in America when it comes to black children. There's only a black push-out rate. Our kids are pushed out by the treatment that they get. They are castrated psychologically and emotionally. They are degraded. They are treated like animals. And guess what else we find? This is supported by the research. The darker the boy, and the thicker his hair, the more likely he is to be suspended. We also find what? The darker the boy, the more likely he is to be diagnosed as mildly mentally retarded. The darker the boy, the more likely he is to be diagnosed as emotionally disturbed. In the United States of America, a black boy is 4 times as likely as a white boy to be diagnosed as retarded and 4 times less likely to be found as gifted. Did y'all hear that? 4 times more likely to be diagnosed as retarded and 4 times less likely to be diagnosed as gifted. So that means what? There's only 2 conclusions you can draw. Black boys are intellectually inferior to white boys, or the system of miseducation is inherently evil. It's one or the other. It is absolutely one or the other. And for the black men in the audience, y'all know what I'm talking about because you've been through it. Unhealthy drugs, what are the chances that I'm going to come back and say that the drug is not good? So you see, half the stuff that you eat and half the medicines that we are taking are killing us because it's all about the profit motive. And how much money are they making on Wall Street by prescribing these medicines? $50 billion a year just off brain drugs. $50 billion a year just off Raheem not being able to sit still long enough. But nobody's talking about the fact that the teacher who's teaching Raheem doesn't have any effective instruction. Stop letting your enemy define you, because he will define you out of existence. And one of the biggest mistakes we made in the post-civil rights movement was allowing people to define us as minorities and clump us in with other people of color who also don't care about you. And so when they give out the contracts in Los Angeles, they say, well, we got a 15% set aside. And then you look on the list of everybody who got a contract, now one of them was black. You go to the mayor, you said, Mayor, I thought it was a 15% set aside for people of color. He said it was. And you said, well, ain't no black people on here. He said it had to be. But they're all people of color. So what we got to do is start fighting for black rights, African-American rights. I wish goodwill to every other color under the sun, but my obligation is to myself first and my people first. And to that I say I am what? Absolutely, and unapologetically African. You must be absolutely and unapologetically African. Nobody else is afraid to be who and what they are but us. And we got to stop doing that. Stop doing that. And we got to teach our children who they are. It's okay to give them religion. I ain't got a problem with no religion out there, but I do got a problem with how you teach it. And if you got little black boys and girls growing up worshiping a European Christ, we got a problem. And if you got growing up worshiping an Arab Muhammad, we got a problem. The problem is ain't nothing wrong with that, but the deity should never look like your enemy. And when the deity looks like your enemy, then you are voluntarily giving yourself to slavery all over again. Because the brain stores all images as pictures. All images as pictures. So it doesn't matter how much I tell a black child that Christ is African. It doesn't matter. If you keep on force feeding that European version, Michelangelo's uncle, into that baby's head, do you follow me? Yeah. The subconscious will automatically grab into the images. That's what the brain is. It is an image device. It ain't a word device. It's images. And so we got to be careful about the image diet that we give to our children.